Hey everyone, welcome to the Soul Star Cafe. I've got a friend of mine, Cindy Welch, here with us today, talking about all that we're going to be talking about for this year, the new year, and maybe a little bit about neurographic art as well. So, Cindy, welcome to the channel.
Thank you so much. I'm just excited for this new year. I know a lot of people are, and I'm excited to talk about what's coming because I really feel like it's something big this year.
Well, let's
Yeah.
just jump right in. I mean, we were just talking a little bit before we hit the record button about the year of the horse and what's going to be happening this year. And I really just going to kind of let you roll with it for a few minutes, and we'll just kind of pop back and forth about what is happening in the world. Yeah,
Okay, well, to do that, we have to back up and talk about 2025. And really,
gotcha.
we need to talk about the last 9 years because in 20, what I guess that's 2016, we started this 9 year cycle. And you know, 2025 being a 9 year collectively, nines are the number for culminations, endings, wrapping things up, and the end of a cycle. So, letting go of the last 9 year cycle is going to be very important this year. And I think we've been given a little extra time because the Lunar New Year does not occur until February 17th. Last year it was January 30th. But I think we're given now an extra 2 weeks from New Year's Day on January 1st to mid-February to really make sure we've let go of everything. Because what I keep telling people is when the year of the horse comes and the change starts to move forward at a clip, that's what I keep hearing from spirit, that it's going to move forward really quickly. It You're going to have change whether you're ready for it or not. And it's really best to be ready for what's coming in new, right? And
Right.
so we just talked about how fast manifestation is happening. And that's what I feel like is coming. There's this accelerated pace of things happening starting sort of mid-February with the Lunar New Year and continuing on until February, I think 5th or 15th. I can't remember the exact date in 2027. So we're going to have a whole year of this one energy. And so one is all about me. It's all about the individual and us coming into who we really are in the world. Our life purpose, I think, is going to be a focus and really opening up people who are I've been having so many clients in 2025 that come to me and say, I just don't know what my life purpose is. I don't know why I'm here, right?
Right.
That is getting ready to end. People are going to be stepping into their power like never before. I really feel that. Now, I
That's great.
don't
Can you just, let me stop you right there just for a second. That's really great to know. Stepping into our power, our sovereignty. Can you give me an example of what that might look like for somebody who's just finding out their purpose and going forward? Like, give us a little bit more around that.
Well, I think there's just been a lot of confusion about, okay, well, is my purpose this or is it that? And when, even if they did know their purpose, when Neptune is in Pisces, there's just a difficulty connecting emotionally with figuring that out. And how do I feel about it? And how do I do it? Right. But I feel like now what's happening is people are getting ideas. People are going to start to have really quick inspirations and answers to their prayers to know what to do as they move forward. And as a Pisces, I'm so happy that Neptune is finally cycling out of my sign, right? Because it has just been like this cloud of, am I really on the right track? And, for many years, I've been sort of living what I call a double life, where I have a career in two streams of the world, right? And I see now that there's a lot going on with me personally of bringing those things together. And all of it had to do with body awareness and coming into your body and, grounding. We just talked about that too, about how important it was in 2025 to ground. And I think the reason that was so important was because when you're tying up loose ends and everything, if you're not grounded, you just get lost in the
Yeah.
chaos, right? And a
Right,
lot of
right. Very
people have been.
scattered, very popcorny in the head, all those kinds of things. I really agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm excited about the year of the horse. I feel like we are going to be moving, but with a purpose. So this idea of this year is about me. I just want to, if you don't mind, can I just go down a little side
Yeah,
road
please,
tangent?
please do, because we've got a small gathering here of people who watch these videos, and so let people know a little bit about who you are and what you've been doing and how we've come together here. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. So in 2015, I started reading tarot cards. I just sort of spent that whole year learning about it. And then in 2016, I began doing it professionally. And so for me, as I look back at that last 9 year cycle, right? I'm like, okay, so it all began with the tarot. And one of the cards that's so predominant in the tarot that most people focus on is the lover's card because everybody wants love, everybody wants a relationship, right? But for me, the lover's card has always been you and you. The parts of you you'd like, the parts of you you don't like, the parts of you that are rational, the parts of you that are intuitive, the parts that are emotional, the parts, all of that, intellectual. And it's bringing those together into one coherent whole. And I feel like that's been what's happening in the last 9 years for so many people. They've been figuring out who am I with my shadow brought together with my light, right? And so now we stand on the brink of this culmination of these 9 years that produce who I am on a core level, all the parts of me together. Why? Because we're moving into a 2 year, right? And that 2 year, now this is about the relationships with the people around me, but we can't figure that out until we understand ourselves. So I feel like this whole 9 year cycle has been about a collective, like, waking up into all the parts of me. I see it on Facebook. I see it on every social media outlet. People realizing, look, you've got to deal with your trauma. You've got to deal with the parts of you you don't like. You've got to come to terms with how to love yourself. I hear self-care is like the buzzword, right? And I think that's why, because we've been being taught that all of us is good. The whole spectrum of us is wonderful, right? And beautiful. And now we're heading into a celebration of that. And I feel like if people will accept who they are, all the parts of themselves, and they've got another month to work on that, right? Before we really get into now launch. Here you are, accept who you are. Now go out and do what you've been called to do, what you came to do, right?
Yeah. I love that. And it kind of reminds me like really looking at your stuff, right? This is now the time to do it. Look at your stuff, look at anything that still bugs you in any way, shape, or form. And take care of that. And I think for me, it's like taking our own responsibility for taking care of those things that have nagged us, the resentments, anything that really needs to be called out, looked at with your divinity to
Yeah.
heal it, with the love to heal it, with the forgiveness to heal it, whatever it might be, and really look at it, with your guides and teachers, right?
Yes, and then to let it go, let it be what it was. There,
Yeah.
people talk about being in the moment and being okay with what is. Well, how about let's be okay with what was? Right? Because that's where it trips people up. They might be okay with where they are now, but they're often not okay with where they were and what was. And that's part of it. We've got to understand the past is the past. It was what it was. People like to say it is what it is. Well, how about let's let go of that and stop dragging forward
Mhm.
all of those emotions,
Yeah.
feelings, the trauma. I had such an interesting conversation with someone the other day about trauma.
Mhm.
And it really resonated with me that you can become too focused
Mhm.
on dealing with your trauma. You really can. That can sort of become your pitfall, the place
Yeah,
where
you're
you
yeah,
just sort of,
you're plugged into it, right? You're plugged into trauma. You want to unplug, do all the work and unplug and plug into your To the love light, the love language, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And so, and part of that, a big piece of that is forgiveness. But people have such a misconception about what forgiveness means. It does not mean that you're saying that whatever happened to you was okay. That's not it, right? It's allowing everything in your life, all of the um, duality that we live in to exist in our life and realizing that the bad stuff just makes us appreciate the good stuff even more. I mean, I can't tell you how many times in the last decade I've said to people, you don't know how good you feel until you've been really sick, you know,
Yeah, right,
because
right.
you have to feel that negative feeling to really appreciate the beauty and all of it. And gratitude has been a big theme in the last 5 years or so, buzzword around the whole metaphysical community. I just feel like it just feels like we're shifting away from some of those basic concepts into a more, I mean, if you want to use the term, I don't really like the term enlightened, but a more enlightened view of just, can we just be at peace with ourselves and the world? And isn't that what the monks are marching for right now? Isn't that exactly what brought them to America at this time in history? There's no accident because we've had terrible government stuff for decades, but
Mhm.
here they are right now. I think that really speaks to what they want to bring in. And as it turns out, they're going to be in Richmond somewhere around February 15th,
Oh,
which
isn't
is
that interesting?
which
Isn't
is
that
right
interesting?
around the Lunar New Year, right? And unfortunately, I won't be here to march with them, which I would have loved to have done. But I've been following them and just so thankful that somebody in the world is showing a peaceful, loving way to say, we care about you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So.
That's well said there. Thank you for all of that. So let's go into more of what's going to be happening this year, what you're seeing in the cards, any guidances, where, the frequency of gratitude, the octave of gratitude is so important. And then, kind of shedding the old and going into the new. Anything else that you're kind of picking up that might be helpful for our listeners?
I mean, I think abundance is going to be a real theme this year. There's a movement. Jupiter is in a very amazing placement, and we're getting ready. I don't know when it's going to happen, but we're getting ready to have multiple planets all bunched together. And I listened to a tarot reader online, and he's an astrologer also, and he talks about how he has searched through the astrological recorded history so far and he cannot find any other time in history when this many planets have been conjunct with each other. There's going to
Yeah.
be it's a big deal. So
Can
there's
you,
a
can
there's
you unpack a little bit about what conjunct means for people who might not know what a
so
conjunction is? Yeah.
well, I'll just put out there that I know just enough astrology to be dangerous. That's not my focus. But what I understand is they're working together. They work together in a way that is beneficial rather than having when you have squares or oppositions, those are times when the planets are not working together and it can cause friction between things in your life. And it depends on the planet and what it represents. So, Uranus is unconventional, Jupiter is abundance and growth, Saturn is structure and form, and so forth, right? And so
Mhm.
you kind of have to look at, but even when you get Saturn and Jupiter conjunct, you start to really see progress in a new way because now you have abundance and expansion coming in a very structured systematic format, right, which is helpful for us. We need that. We need that structure. But you also have Uranus conjunct. And so now you have, well, we're also going to throw in the unconventionality, and different ways of thinking and outside the box and so forth. So there's just a lot happening astro. I just recommend that your listeners find a really skilled astrologer to
Yeah.
unpack that
We
for
we
them
like
because I
Pam
don't really
Gregory.
think.
Pam Gregory is a great astrologer. I listen
There
to
you go.
her. Just I'll put a link to her, Pam Gregory, in the description because she's really
Perfect.
great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. I'm sure she's tracking
Yeah.
all of that too. And so, as far as the tarot goes, I have not done my year ahead spread. I do a year ahead spread every year. And I feel like I'm in my dark time right now of still letting go. And so my year ahead spread I will actually do on the New Year, February 17th. If anybody would like to reach out to me to do that with me for them personally, I can teach them because that particular spread is designed to empower you to read your own cards, even if you don't know anything about the tarot. And that's what I love about that spread because it does not require you to learn what all the cards mean and all of that kind of stuff. You really use your own intuition. And isn't that what real abundance is anyway? When we can listen, so let me give you an example of this. This is really interesting. For the last few months, I have, well, for decades, I've been on YouTube as long as it's been around. And I've been learning all kinds of things. And I just love listening to famous people, Alan Watts, and things by, write-ups by Carl Jung, all of that. Well,
Yeah.
one of the things I've started noticing is that when I log on, because I've listened to Alan Watts for so long, I know exactly what his voice sounds like. I know what he says because I've read his books, so forth. I'm going on YouTube now and I'm hearing talks that are supposedly by Alan Watts. And I know they're not because I can hear the overlay that somehow the computers are generating his voice over someone else who's speaking. And they're not giving his core message, they're giving their interpretation of his message. So I just want to throw out there are some things, not everything that's going to expand is necessarily going to be great,
It
right?
seems a little bit out of alignment, right? A little bit out of
It
integrity.
is. It
Yeah.
is. And so I just want to caution everyone to use your intuition when you're listening to these
Yeah.
people, because if it doesn't resonate, right? And so a few months ago, I noticed that people were taking Dr. Joe Dispenza's meditations and they were cutting and pasting them and then posting them as a one themed meditation. But I have probably 20 of his meditations that I've been listening to for a decade. And I know they're not real. And they also don't feel the same inside me,
Yeah.
right? So I
That
just
really
want to,
comes down to discernment, right? You're talking about
yeah,
intuition, discernment. You
yes,
could hear the tonality of the voice
yes,
of
exactly.
Alan Watts, and you knew his tone and his frequency.
Mhm,
And I
mhm.
think that's very helpful to hear you unpack some of that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
And even if they clip and paste the actual voice, it's not the pure message. So this is part of what the 1 year is about us developing our senses such that we can discern what's real and what's not out there because their deep fake is a thing and it's the reality of our current social media culture and all of our video culture and reels and all of that. And so I even though there but that's positive. Us learning to listen to our intuition, you can't get any more
Yeah,
higher
yeah.
vibration than that,
No
right?
AI could ever overtake that for sure. And I
Yeah.
like it that we have our organic background. You have your organic background. We're just sitting here talking. We're not going to clip out anything that's, any mistakes that we might make. And yeah, it's just very organic. I think people are looking for that.
Yeah, I absolutely. I know that I am. I'm really looking for authenticity right now, and I think that's going to be a big theme.
Mhm.
So while we were talking, the Queen of Swords is what really popped into my head while we're having this conversation. So in the Queen of Swords tarot card, there's a queen sitting looking to what you perceive as the right side, which is future for me. And she's holding this sword, the clouds are low and there's blue sky all around her, which speaks of clarity, right? And that sword lets you know that in communication and in your thoughts, because swords represent beliefs, thoughts, all of that, plus your ability to communicate, there's going to be some really powerful clarity coming forth in 2026 in communication. I really believe that. And people are going to start, I feel like people are going to start rejecting all of that mishmash of content that doesn't resonate with them. That is on its way out. I really believe that.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Oh, I
just
love
trust
that
your
message.
intuition.
What a great message from the Queen of Swords. I like
Yeah.
that a lot.
Yeah. So
That's
walk in that energy because she
yeah.
cuts right through the crap. You cannot lie to the Queen of Swords.
Yeah,
No way.
speaking your truth and cutting through the crap. That's great. I love it. I love it. And it feels like divine feminine energy too, like kind of, bringing that up a little bit there as well.
Yeah. Yes. Well, she is all about stepping into your power.
Mhm.
That's really what the Queen of Swords is about. Yeah.
All right. I
As
love
she
it.
relates to the world. And so I just feel like that's where that could almost be an Ace of Swords card, the
Well,
way
funny
she
that I'll just
represents
have to
it.
stop you there. As you were just talking, this is how we're manifesting so quickly because I know a little bit about the tarot.
Mhm.
As you were talking, Queen of Swords, I see a lot in my third eye, and what the image that was coming in was the Ace of Swords.
Yes.
So that's beautiful. Keep going about with that one. Yeah.
So, it's interesting because in that year ahead tarot spread, the first card in the spread you choose out of the deck. You go through the deck and choose. I'm starting to feel like maybe that's going to be my card for the year is that ace of or that Queen of Swords, not the ace, the queen, because the queens are the intentional masters. They really think things through much more than the kings do, right? And so, that's intentional mastery is what I would say we are looking for in 2026. Now, you and I have talked a lot about this new sort of avenue that I've been working with, this NeuroArt system, where we draw using symbols, lines, and shapes to connect with our own brain. It can rewire the brain. It promotes neuroplasticity, which is another buzzword for the last few years around our circles, right? And sort of change your thinking. As we are in this dark time, I've been doing a lot of drawings around release, around letting go of the past, so that, and really you want to stay away from goal setting, manifestation right now, manifesting goals. That's not where we are collectively yet. But I think that as we move toward the new moon and away from this full moon that we just had Saturday, which was very powerful, the wolf super moon, the very first moon of the year was a super moon. It was just super powerful. I felt it. I still felt it last night. As we move away from that into the new moon energy, now we can begin to think ahead to setting goals. But I feel like even for the next maybe 10 days, just focus on letting go. Just when stuff comes up, let it go, right? Just imagine letting it wash out of you, like water washing it off of you and out of you, right? Yeah.
That's well said. I love that. It's just really good tips I'm feeling through your talk here. But what I want to do is I want to put a pin on the neuro art a little bit, is I want to bring you back maybe in the next few weeks or month or whatever, maybe make
Mhm.
you a regular here to talk about all that you're talking about because it's such great wisdom that's coming right through your mouth. I really am enjoying this. But I'm going to kind of keep this a little bit short today. Is there anything that you want to, like, at the close of the video here, talk about any final thoughts, words, shares that are coming through that you can sense and sort of deliver to us at this moment?
Yes. So despite all of the energy that's coming and the fast movement and the change and everything, the word that keeps coming up for me for this year is ease. So it's it would be I think a mistake to be too intense or hmm, I don't know, fearful maybe of the changes that are coming because I think it's easy to get into that mindset, especially with what's happening on the news and the things people see out in the world. So stay within yourself. This is a year about you. It's a year about focusing on taking care of yourself and walking out the integration that's been happening for the last 9 years. Just be easy about it as you move forward. And I feel so much joy for what's coming. That's probably the part that makes me the just smile the biggest because it's been a hard road these last 9 years for so many people, right? But I feel like we're turning a corner and moving more into joy in the next 9 years. And I'm really excited about that. And I hope your listeners will be too.
Well, that's so well said. So thank you so much for that. We'll put all of your information in our description box, and so that people can reach out to you if they feel inspired to. Great, great wisdom today. Please come back. And
Absolutely.
we'll do this maybe more regularly if you feel inspired to do that, and bring you on so people can really get to know you and your work. Find you so interesting and grounded in everything that you're talking about, and all of it really just resonates. And I love
Mhm.
that idea of ease
Yeah.
into everything this year and really focusing on yourself and clearing your energy field out and just
Yeah.
all the things that we're doing because we are in a beautiful celestial speed up and we're letting go of the fear timelines in favor of the love timelines, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, Cindy
Thank
Welch,
you.
love you so much. We'll bring you back on soon. And thank you for coming in today and bringing us your wisdom. And let me find this button here. If I can find it. Here we go. All right. God bless you. Thank you.